Hello there. In this tutorial, I'm going to discuss about how to configure a base topology in Cisco Packet Tracer. So currently, we have created a topology, a network, uh, 3 routers connect with the switch, and then add devices. But those were not configured. You can even see that these are down. The links are down. And currently no configuration has been made in the router. So how to configure router, we already discussed about the uh, configuring IP address, how to set a network in the previous tutorial, but we didn't configure network yet. So as of now, I decided the network between router 0 to router 1 will be dedicated to 10s of network. Router 1 and router 3 will be 20s, and then the switch 1 switch the router 0 to switch 0 will be 192.168.1.0. switch 0 to PC1 will be follow that same network. Router 1 will be 192.168.2.0 to this will follows router 1 to switch 1. The network will be like that. So okay, let's start the configuration. We can even start a fresh start, for example, switch on or switch off router, doesn't matter. Okay, so no. Now first thing we need to configure it is goes to privilege mode, then configuration terminal, configure mode. Now first thing we need to configure is hostname. Hostname will be, for example, I give R1, or you can whatever he wants to give, R1 for example. Now we connected serial 0 by 0, a router 0 to serial 011 serial 0/1 of router 1. So let's configure it. So in phase serial 0/0 IP address, and the IP address wants to give is 10s1. Some the mask by default 1, and no shutdown. So link is up. Now one thing you remember in the real scenario that and in this tutorial purpose, that in the real scenario, whenever your device connected to with the ISP's network, then you're not required to give a clock rate, because your ISP give a clock rate to you, and your device can behave like a DTE device, which follow the clock rate. But here we took a DCE. We connect our router with DCE cable. 0 by 0 needs to give a clock. So clock rate, what clock rate is allowed to give? Let us check. So these are the allowed clock rate. It's basically is all about the speed. We have to give more speed means more fast data transfer rate it will be. So it's depend upon the ISP how much they are capable enough to send data rate, to send data. So just wants to give 64,000 clock rate, and it's all done. Now what we need to do is going to router. First let me show you IP and show IP interface brief. So currently we configure serial 0 by 0. Tense 1 is currently down because at other way it's not yet configured. So serial 0, now here we have to configure once again. Okay, let me configure router 0 only. Enable. Okay, so interface. Now here our port is fast Ethernet 0 by 0. So we have to give IP address, which is we set it as 192.168.1.255.255. Sorry. No shutdown, so it's up. Okay, so serial 0 by 0 is set to tense 1, fast Ethernet 0 by 0 is set to 192.168.1.1. okay, now we have to go to our second router. Let's enable, configure, okay, same there. Here to give host name. For example, wants to give R1 or R2 because R0 only have got the name called R1. So R1. So router 1 is R2 name. Okay. So what we need to do is have to give interface serial 0 by 1. Remember one thing, that you have to be very careful regarding giving IP address. Now will be tense 2 255.0. No shutdown, and your network will be up. Now remember one thing, that serial 0 by 1 will not give a clock rate. The reason is we already give a clock rate from router 0, so the serial 0 by 1 port will not need it to give a clock rate. We have to give a clock rate as serial 0 by 0 because we are going to push. Here you find that clock rate, the clock symbol to 0 by 0, because this is the start of the new network. This first network finished to this network, and now this network will start with this network. So remember one thing, that you have to give a clock rate from start end. So let me show you once again how to give a clock rate. Now serial 0/0 IP address and here you have to give a 20th IP address because we want to set 20th IP address. Give us 20th network. No shutdown. And here we have to give a clock rate same as 64,000. Sorry, let me configure first. Okay, 64,000. Okay. So we gave our IP address in both serial port. Now what we need to give is have to give IP in the fast net port. Phase fast 0 by 0 IP address, and here we have to give 192.168.2.0. No shutdown, and link is up. So let me show IP address, IP interface brief. Okay, sorry, we yet to give IP address. We configured the network ID, which is not good. Interface fast Ethernet 0/0 192.168.2.1. This would be what our requirement is. Okay, now it's better. Okay, so our router 1 configuration is done. Router 0, okay, all done. 192.168.1.1, shared 10.1. Here also it's done. Where you need to give is to have to configure router fee. And phrase. Now here we have to configure in phrase, which is connected is serial 0y1. Yes, serial 0y1. Remember very carefully that you need to configure very carefully, otherwise you will mess with that. It's a huge number we need to create. That's reason. I already messed with it. Okay, so let's shut down. Now we don't need to give a clock rate because we already give a clock rate here, so this will be follower. That's the reason its network is up. Now we just need to configure the fast Ethernet port. So fast Ethernet port 0 IP address, which is 192.168.3.1 255 to 255.0. No shutdown. Make Control Z, show IP, interface brief. Here we go. Now all ports looks to be good, and now let me configure IP address. Now basically, let me show you one thing. Let me tell you one thing. Actually, here in Packet Tracer, we very easily double click on a router and easily able to configure it. But in real scenario, you need a console port, actually a console cable, and basically we connect the console cable and we connect with the PC or S232, whatever, and we need a third-party software, either it's Hyper Terminal or PuTTY, and once we connect to the terminal, this is how it looks like. This is the actual scenario to configure router. Means we need a third-party software, we need a console port, we connect with the RS232 port, whatever is available on your PC or laptop, connect the console cable with it and configure like this. This is the actual way to start with, and this is actually in real scenario done with configuration. We can't go to router. This is not the ideal way. Cancel. Let me remove this console port. Okay, now we have to configure the IP address of our PC. So for example, 2 default giver 192.168.1, and D, we didn't configure DNS, so it should work currently. So seems like all's done. Okay. Tries to ping with it successfully. It's currently pinging with we can go to here also. Try to ping with the R network. For example, it's IP 3.3, getting reply. Same way here too, have to configure it. Just 192.168.2.2. 192.168.2.3 2.1. Okay, so I've been ping it successful. You can even go to command prompt, ping the network. It's pinging. Here, pinging. Okay, so you can ping it. For example, it goes to router. For example, first to tries to ping with network call. It's just 20s 2s 20s 1. Okay, so we're trying to create ping with 20s 1. So success means we can ping with the network. But if we try to ping with the 10th network, we will not allow to ping. Reason is routing is not enabled yet. Let me ping with any network. So you can see type escape sequence is to boot, and success rate was 100% before, and now success rate is 0%. Not a single packet sent because router is not yet enabled. You can even configure, you can even ping with these PCs. For example, PC1, or for example, let's use this PC only, PC3. Now this PC will able to communicate with its native network PC. For example, it can ping with the switch, getting reply from the switch from the native PC, but will not be with the native switch. Destination host unreachable, and even with the PC, because router is yet to enable, and we will enable router. Lots of ways are there to enable router. We will look out how to enable those, but this is how we can configure a topology, a base in a packet tracer. It's a long